Hey, my name is Charlie, and in today's video, I'll be teaching you how to build a fully functioning app using AI with no coding experience. We'll be doing this with a tool called Base44, which is one of the coolest things I've ever used. You basically just describe what type of app you want to make in plain English, and the AI builds the entire thing for you. The design, the database, user logins, everything. So if you guys follow along step by step, you'll have a working app within 10 to 20 minutes. I'm not exaggerating, it is literally that fast. And you can build things like client portals, productivity apps, business dashboards, booking systems, or really any type of app you've been wanting to build. And though it seems pretty daunting to build an entire app, especially a complex one, I promise you it is so easy with Base44, and I'll walk you through exactly how to do it. So if you guys click on the link in the description, you'll be able to try out Base44 for free. And what I recommend doing is just following along with this video, because that's the #1 way to actually learn and actually build your app. Anyways, let's get started. So first, let's talk about what Base44 is. It's essentially a no-code app builder, which allows you to build fully functioning apps that used to take months to make with a team of developers in just minutes. It's absolutely crazy. So you basically just describe what you want, and it's going to build out the whole thing for you. The front end, back end, user authentication, logins, database, all of it. It also handles hosting, so once you build the app on Base44, you can just click publish and you can start using it right away. You don't need to know anything technical, I'm serious. You don't need to figure out servers or deployments or any of that complicated stuff. It's just super, super easy. And yeah, I truly believe that in-house apps are the future. So instead of paying for a bunch of different platforms, what a lot of people are going to do is just build their own app in-house that's perfectly customized for what they want and just run it the majority of their business or personal life within these custom built apps. All right, so let's get started. And again, that link will be down below. The best way to learn Base44 is to just follow along, build an app alongside me. And I guarantee you, you're going to learn 10 times better and faster. So what we'll do is click on build now. You don't need to type anything here. Now you're going to create your account. So you can either sign up using Google, which is probably the easiest, or enter in your email and a password and click sign up. So if you use that link, you'll be able to try Base44 for free. And I think for most of you guys watching this video, the starter plan is going to be perfect. You can always upgrade to the Builder, Pro, or Elite plans later on, but I don't think most of you will need that. The monthly pricing is just a little bit higher, but for $20 per month and being able to build your own in-house apps, I think it's such a good deal. Plus, like I said, this includes the server and hosting and all that stuff. So you literally don't need any other platforms. So once you're in your dashboard, this is going to be the main section where we can start creating our app. You'll be able to describe your app in plain English right here and build it. I'll go into more details on how to do this later on. You'll also be able to see your recent apps that you've built here. If you want to build your own super agent, that's also possible with Base44, which is really, really cool. And going back to apps, we can look at all the apps we've built. This is a fresh demo account, so there's no apps here. There's also app templates, which is actually a really cool way to start building your own apps. Instead of starting from complete scratch, you can actually start using these pre-built templates. Some of them are paid, but a lot of them are actually free or very, very cheap. What you guys can basically do is find something that is very similar to what you're trying to build, and then you can customize it. For example, if you want like a study app, you can see this one is a study education app. You can start with this template and then just tweak it. If you want a financial dashboard, for example, this one's also free. So let's click on view app. So this is a cool little study tool app, and you can view the app and actually use it, or you can just press on use template. That's going to basically clone this app for you. And then we'll be able to add our own functionality or tweak whatever we want. I'm going to teach you guys how to build an app from scratch. So I'm just going to close out of this, but feel free to play around with it. Now, Base44 has tons of pre-built integrations that allow you to connect different APIs and services. So what you guys can do is go through these connectors, add whichever ones you want to connect to your apps. For example, Gmail is probably going to be a very popular one. Google Drive, Google Sheets. If you guys use Notion, you can actually connect that. Yeah, there are tons and tons of different connectors for you guys, and they're always adding more. So now let's actually build a fully custom app. And you guys are gonna be blown away because it's so easy to do, but there are some tips and tricks that I recommend doing to actually lower the amount of credits you use, like be a lot more efficient, as well as be able to create the best app possible. If you want a handheld approach, you can always click on these buttons to pick what type of app you want to make. If you click on this plus button right here, you're gonna be able to attach different files for reference, for example. If you have a paid plan and you click on this button right here, you'll be able to select different AI models. Now, a huge tip I have for you guys is when you're building your app, try using the plan button first. So when you're in the plan mode, you're not actually building your app, and you're also not using any of the credits. It's essentially like ChatGPT, but built into Base44, and you can basically tell it what you want to make. It's going to go back and forth with you. And so I'm going to actually start with that for this video. Now, really quick before I build my app, I'm actually going to upgrade my plan. You guys don't need to do this right now, but I do recommend doing it. I'll go with the starter for now. You can do yearly to save some money or just start with the monthly plan. We'll click continue to checkout, and I'm just going to go through the checkout process. So now I'm going to go to plan mode, and I'm going to say I want to build a client portal app for my business that has an invoice generator, DocuSign capability for clients, as well as track project status. We'll click enter, and now we'll be able to go back and forth with Base44. It's going to ask us some questions to clarify things. So we'll say we have an agency, who's going to use this portal. Let's do both contracts and invoices. The reason why you need to do this is because it's a lot more efficient in terms of credit usage. So instead of continually adding on new features and things that you think about, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a prompt that has every single feature we want, or at least most of them. And the planning phase is really important for this. As you can see, it's built us this sort of plan. It's very, very detailed. And you can do something similar to this in ChatGPT. Tell it that you're building a Base44 app and you want it to do this. I actually really like the plan feature in Base44. I think it's a little bit better. It's very, very tailored to app building. If you want to add additional ideas to this thing, we can absolutely do that right here. But I think this looks good for now, and we're going to click on start building. So again, building an app like this before, just a few years ago, would have taken multiple developers, many weeks probably, and cost you a ton of money. So it's just absolutely insane the things that you can actually build now with $20 a month subscription and literally zero technical coding experience. I never learned how to code. I have no idea how to do it, but now I can build these fully functioning apps that I can use within my business or within my personal life and just save a ton of money doing that, right? And building my own apps instead of subscribing to a ton of different apps and platforms. I can just build them myself in 10 to 20 minutes. Okay, so it spent a couple minutes to build out this first draft of our app. So as you can see, we have a dashboard, we have a client section, we have a project section, invoices, as well as documents. So what you can do is basically play around with the app as is right here. If we click on, let's say, clients, let's click on add client. You can put in name. Let's do test name. That client is now going to show up right here. We can go to projects. We can create a new project, put under this test client. Let's do a due date of April 16, budget $1,000. Now we have this project right here. It seems to all be functioning really smoothly. For invoices, we have this. As you can see, it's created this little form where it asks for the client name, project, issue date, due date, line items, any notes, and you can create and send. Documents, this is where we're going to be able to, create documents and actually have them get signed. Let's do a contract. So for example, here it's asking me to actually write the content here. Instead, what if I want to upload a document and be able to have signing functionality just like DocuSign, right? That's something that we might want to change. And what you can do is actually click on discuss. As you can see, using discuss uses a lot fewer credits per request. So you can actually ask Base44 different questions about what features you might want to add. Will this work? Stuff like that. So I want to add a feature where I can upload a PDF or doc and then select where I want the client or myself to sign. Is this doable under documents? Click enter. So it's going to discuss this with you. It's going to have us actually clarify a few things. Okay, so I've clarified and we'll click enter. That gave me a lot of good context. We'll get out of discuss mode and we'll click on enable document uploads. Now it's going to add this feature right here that I discussed with it. And as you can see, you basically just go back and forth with Base44. There's always going to be different tweaks and changes that you're going to want. So go back and forth until the app is where you want it. And essentially what I like to do is I'll do a change. I'll test the added functionality to make sure it's working properly. I'll play around a bit more and see if there's any other features I want. And I'll just keep doing this until I have the app fully functional to where I want it to be. Cool. So now let's click on new document. Now we're going to be able to actually drop a file right here. And so yeah, that looks awesome. Now at any point, if you do a change and you actually want to revert back to a previous version, what you'll want to do is click on this button right here. This will show you the version history. And let's say I want to go back to this one. I'll click on this. It's going to show me that version. Of course, I prefer this one since it has that new PDF upload feature. Yeah, sometimes you're going to make a mistake and it's going to be very helpful to go back to a previous version. Now if I click on this button right here, this toggles the visual editor mode on. So now what I can do is actually for any of these things, so for example, this, I can edit this element. So let's change the name to Charlie's Portal. Let's say we want to change the color of this. We can choose a color directly right here. We can also click on this and actually describe it in plain English. So make this a lighter pastel color. All right, so I just did that, but I actually think it's now too light. Can't really see the text. So of course we can change the color right here, but I'm just gonna click on revert. So I decided that I prefer the original dark color scheme. So I just clicked on revert, and now we're back to this. If you click on this button too, you can change the theme. So we can play around with the different colors, right? Background, foreground, all these different things. We can change the fonts. And so this visual editor is really cool because you don't need to do everything with text. There's some things where it still makes a lot of sense to edit visually. Now, if you click on this dashboard button right here, I forgot to mention the visual editor will save you a ton of credits. So if there's anything that you want to change visually, I just prefer to do it using the visual edit mode. Now, if you click on dashboard, this is where we're going to be able to see an overview of our app. So you can play around with all these different settings, right? We can actually invite users. We can make it public, private, or accessible within a certain workspace. We can make it not require any login access. You can look at different users. So essentially this is like the database, right? We can create different users. We can invite them. We can see pending requests. We can look at all the data within our app, right? So all the client data, we created this test client right here, and you can see it right here. We can also delete any of this data too. Your test project. You can look at your invoices, documents. We can also look at analytics. If you want to connect a domain, you can absolutely do that right here. Some of these features will require a certain plan, so just be aware of that. Here's integrations. We can also add different skills. We can connect different apps to our, custom built app. I recommend doing this every once in a while, doing this security check. If you want to create automations that run tasks automatically in this app, you can absolutely do that right here. Click on new automation. I'm not going to cover this too much in this video, but it's basically going to suggest some different automations that apply to this app that we're currently building. Laws API, you guys don't need to worry too much about that stuff. App settings, we can change the logo, change authentication, so how people sign in. We're going to allow Google authentication, but you can also add these other ones too. Yeah, definitely recommend playing around with this. Next, if we click on code, you're actually going to be able to see the actual code that was written that's making this app run. I have no idea what any of this stuff says, so I never look in here. But for you coders, you can absolutely change stuff directly within the code. If you want to see multiple of these at the same time, you can click on this button right here. So now we have our preview. Now we have our code over here. For example, let's say we want dashboard with preview. Now you can do both at the same time. Going back to preview, what I recommend doing is also checking to see if it looks good on tablet or mobile. If you want to use this app on other devices, then it definitely makes sense to make sure it looks okay. Cool. So it seems like it works pretty well on mobile. The UI seems like it's pretty smooth. We can also toggle full screen if you just want to have it full screen. Yeah, so basically what you guys want to do is just, like I said, go back and forth until the app has all the functionality that you want. Definitely use the plan mode, use the discuss mode to save on credits, use the visual editor to change some of the visual aspects. Definitely test the app within this preview right here to make sure it's actually functioning okay. And once you're done building the app, what you'll do is click on publish. So you'll have the option to publish on web, and you also have the option to publish on a mobile app. So there's 3 steps for this. So first you'll run the app scan, which basically makes sure that the app is going to be compatible or allowed on the App Store. Then it's going to build the store files. It's going to build the files and then submit your app. And you will need at least the builder plan for the app. But for the web one, we can go ahead and publish this. We can edit the URL if we want. I'm just going to keep this as is for now. App visibility, we'll set it as public, login required, but feel free to choose whichever one. Now let's click publish app. So now we have a fully functional app that is live and hosted on their server. You don't need to migrate this app somewhere else. It's basically an all-in-one platform, so it makes it super easy. So if you go ahead and go to that link, now it's saying welcome to Sync Portal. We can continue with Google, or you can create a login like this. Let's go ahead and click on continue with Google, since I think that is a super cool feature. Now we're in our dashboard. As you can see, we still have the things we built before. We can log out by pressing this button. And yeah, this is a fully functioning app that I can literally use within my business right now. In fact, this is probably one of the more simple apps that you can build. You can absolutely go a lot more complex. But for me, I don't want to build something that's too complex that can break too easily. I want small, simple apps. I want multiple of them that I can use. And yeah, as you guys saw, I just built this app. I can add more functionality by connecting it with, let's say, my ClickUp or Notion. We can connect it to Slack as well. build out different automations that send me a Slack message when someone signs a document. All this is possible within Base 44, and essentially the limit is just your imagination. The coolest thing is that we can build and host unlimited apps within one Base 44 subscription. So as long as you don't run out of credits for the month, you can just build more apps. You can browse different templates, and essentially, like in one single afternoon, you guys should probably be able to build like 10 different apps. Honestly, this can save you a ton of money, especially if you have a bunch of other subscriptions to other apps. Just clone the app, host it yourself within Base 44, and yeah, you can cancel a lot of these other apps you have. A really great template that I recommend you guys start with is actually this task management one. I think a lot of you guys will find this very, very helpful. So if you click on this, for example, click View App, we'll sign in, and then this is what it looks like. It's already built out, so just clone this, do your tweaks to it, and then yeah, you have a fully functional project management software that you can start using right away. Literally anyone can become a better entrepreneur just using this one tool. And maybe even by the time we're watching this, there are other features that are built into Base 44. They're always adding new ones. And yeah, I'm super excited to see what other functionality they add. If you guys aren't using AI to run your business, to help you write better, to build apps, to help you carry out tasks, whatever it is, then you're going to be left behind. The truth is, every single one of us can become 5 to 50 times more efficient with our time. We'll be able to have way more output while spending less time and less money. And it's all because of tools just like this. Hopefully you guys can just see how powerful Base 44 is. If you guys haven't already, I just recommend taking action today. You're gonna learn the most by actually building your app yourself, not just watching videos like this and then doing it some other time. Just follow along, use the link down below, get started building your first 1, 2, or 3 apps. And yeah, I promise you it's going to absolutely change your life. I know we covered a lot of different things, so if you want to reference any of the things we talked about, I'll have a whole timeline down below. Feel free to watch different parts and skip around. And yeah, best of luck on building your own apps. This is such an exciting platform for me as a business owner, and I really hope that you guys can try it out. If you guys got any value from the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. I do a ton of videos about AI, business, finance, and my whole goal is to help you guys live a financially successful life. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.